Thank you so much. I think before we do our introduction, we're going to have a short video we want to show you and share with you.
I want to talk about these pictures. You've got a great action shot with the glasses like, yes.
You know?
Where do you want to film? Carol is staring off to the future, envisioning some big production coming into the state. I love it.
Elected officials, we know what we're doing. So if you want to show our video, and then I will introduce our panelists.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Good Day Wake Up anchor Dan Bowens and my man tells us about the boom in the production happening right in New Jersey, right over the bridge.
Right? Mr. Jersey.
That's right. You know, Jersey, you can get a nice slice. Maybe you want a bagel, take a trip down to the Jersey Shore. Well, you can also maybe make a great movie. Move over Hollywood, New Jersey. Now rolling out the red carpet, major studios like Netflix, Lionsgate setting up shop there. They are being drawn by generous tax breaks and the state's mix of city streets, shorelines, and small towns. The Garden State isn't just a backdrop, it's becoming the main stage. Lights, camera, evolution. Hollywood's next big act begins here.
Whatever your production needs, New Jersey's got it.
The spotlight brightly shining east.
It's the new Hollywood. I'm telling you, no, it's everything is kind of moving to New Jersey.
New Jersey writing a script all its own.
You can go from the mountains to the beach, to an urban, to a suburban, to a rural, to a farm, to the Pinelands. Anything and everything is all within, you know, a couple-hour drive.
I need to update my happy place to something a little more age-appropriate.
Adam Sandler's new movie, Happy Gilmore 2, among the latest productions underway or recently wrapped in the Garden State. The actor filming in areas like South Orange, Maplewood, and Clifton. Snapping photos with emergency responders in Hackensack and Verona, and that's not all.
Got in Madison. We took over this house in Madison that was really iconic and shot inside there. And we were in Morristown and Elizabethtown. We were all over the place.
Director Paul Feig stopping by the Good Day set. He says the state's expansion of film tax credits is a big win.
There's a great tax break, which, you know, sadly we're always looking for in our business because we never have enough money for anything.
The movie-making momentum highlighted by Governor Phil Murphy's groundbreaking on Netflix's massive new 289-acre film and TV studio at a former Army base near the Jersey Shore in Monmouth County.
The Garden State is once again shaping the future of entertainment.
The state says that tax incentive program has already attracted more than 150 productions, many of them high-profile.
I give consent to sever my memories between my work life and my personal life.
The surreal office in Severance, streaming on Apple TV Plus, is actually Bell Labs in Holmdel, New Jersey. Timothy Chalamet's Bob Dylan biopic, A Complete Unknown, filmed across 17 Jersey towns, with Jersey City doubling as Greenwich Village.
Why? Why? How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
Christopher Nolan's Oscar winner Oppenheimer filming scenes with Robert Downey Jr. and Cillian Murphy at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, where the real physicist Robert Oppenheimer once taught. Some professors on campus snapping these photos from lecture halls above. And just this spring, legendary director Steven Spielberg was spotted filming scenes in South Jersey for a sci-fi alien movie. The title of that one is still under wraps.
It's like, why would you say no to New Jersey?
The expanding entertainment infrastructure on display at this Film Expo, hosted by the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission at Meadowlands Arena. Jon Crowley is executive director.
We are up in production year over year from last year and the year before.
Glitz and glamour aside, all this means jobs, says Screen Alliance of New Jersey President Gannon Murphy.
But the real infrastructure in the state of New Jersey are the people. It's all about job creation, right?
And that's good for everyone in front of the camera and behind it. Janice Kovach is mayor of Clinton.
It's just every day there's a new production and more coming down the pike. I think there's about 20 projects in pre-production right now.
You know, I was at that Film Expo, and I was shocked to see like a line out the door, kind of young filmmakers, students, but then also like a lot of workers who were just saying, "Oh, I can do a job here, here,"
and not have to go out to the West Coast or to a different state, Louisiana, Georgia, all these other places.
Stay right
and
at
one of
home.
the things it seems like it's like all over the state. It's not one specific spot, only Newark or somewhere.
Yeah, Monmouth County is what we talked about there, where they're going to have this huge Netflix facility where they're going to make all kinds of stuff. But also, as you mentioned, Newark, Lionsgate is now opening up a new studio that's going to cost about $125 million. So a lot of investment and a lot of jobs coming with that.
It's good for the state. Now, I love scary movies. Grew up on Friday the 13th, and there's a new one that's being shot in Jersey.
Really?
What's going
Are you
on?
Friday the 13th?
Oh my God.
Yeah?
From the beginning.
Well, maybe you want to take a trip across the river, because what I hear is that the sequel to Friday the 13th is about to go into production across the river. So a little
Maybe
spooky.
I could be an extra.
Maybe. You know what? You never know. Just be careful. You don't want to be like one of the extras who doesn't make it.
Oh, yeah, that gets
Exactly.
killed.
Well, especially not the first one. So, all right. When
You
we
know how
come
that
back,
goes.
exactly. Thank you, Dan.
There you go.
Well, thank you. It's pretty amazing what we have going on in Jersey. So as you know, my name is Janice Kovach. I am a commissioner on the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission, but I'm also the mayor for the town of Clinton. So I've worked with the productions as they come in. Our panelists, we have Cuddy, who is a producer and unit production manager, and also a commissioner on the Film Commission. Jon Crowley is our executive director, also a local elected councilman. And David Schoner is a senior advisor to the productions that come in. And David's got the history with the Film Commission, right? How many years?
40.
All right.
40 years.
40 years.
Wait, show of hands. How many of you know David? Yep. Yep. Boots
See,
on the
look
ground.
everyone knows David. Well, anyway, we're excited to be here today because this really is an important topic. I mean, we love to be able to promote and talk about everything that's happening in New Jersey. So, Jon, talk a little bit about the industry and kind of how it's evolved over this, the last probably 5-6 years, right? Governor Murphy came in 17, so 18 was the first tax credit, and we've kind of seen. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, so I come from the industry, right? I did 30 years as my first project was as an editor on the Academy Awards in a show called Cops, and then I worked my way up to writer-director, and then showrunner, helped create a show called Impractical Jokers. And so I come from 30 years of that, and then as Janice said, from the governance side as being a councilman, a police commissioner. So I just landed here about 1 year and 2 months ago. So I can speak definitively about that time period, but I know looking into the history of the Film Commission, 2018, the film incentives came in, and you can see this rise in production, because obviously it takes incentives to sort of open that door, start that conversation with theaters, with studios and networks, get their interest here, and then we'll talk later about some of the other things that makes New Jersey so unique. But I will tell you that the qualified spend, so that's when a project lands in the state, and they're going to hardware stores, and they're going to florists, and they're going to cleaners, and they're doing hotels and groceries for Crafty and all that stuff. The qualified spend in New Jersey in 2023 was $592 million. Now, we haven't released this figure publicly yet. So this is the first time that I'm going to utter this figure publicly. And we're still accounting for some things, so I think it's going to go up a little bit. Anybody want to guess what the qualified spend was for 2024? Yelled out. 600. Who said 800 million? Okay, come on up for your free bottle of water. We're going to blow past 800 million last year. That is in a strike-threatened year. Go ahead and applaud. It's pretty cool. Because why do any of us do what we do? It's because we want to see our fellow New Jerseyans and New Yorkers working again, right? So we're out there hustling all the time to try to get business in the state. And also that qualified spend, all that money that's going out to our businesses that I just mentioned. So we're going to blow past $800 million. Now, who wants to fathom a guess in June how many productions? Oh, wait, I'll give you a tip. So 2023, 32 projects came through the incentive program. 2024, 35 projects came through the incentive program. Throw out some numbers. How many projects do you think are right now in May scheduled to come into New Jersey? 200. God bless you. You want to join the staff? We wouldn't be here. We'd be like laid out, no energy. No, give me some more numbers. 50. Somebody said 50. So right now on the books, we've got over 50 productions that are scheduled to come into New Jersey. So everybody else, all our main competitors, Louisiana, Georgia, Los Angeles, New York, Texas, they're all down in production. We're up like 39%. Yeah. So there you go. There's some numbers.
So how many people are from Jersey in the audience?
Oh, yes,
right.
yes.
Okay.
Love those hands.
Carol, can you talk to us a little bit why location selection is such a vital component of production process, and really what makes New Jersey appealing?
I think now the climate of filmmaking is directed by tax incentives. It's just like as soon as a project is given a go-ahead, the studios or network, the streamers are saying, okay, we really want you to go to one of these states because there's a tax incentive. And so the filmmakers themselves, the director, the writer, producer, like, I'm not sure, like New Jersey, I don't know, what about New Jersey? And so what happens then is they send out a scout or they go to the film office and look at the library that's online that's huge, or go to Google and look up a city or something like that, and they start seeing why New Jersey would work, because we have the variety, and enough of you from New Jersey or in the area and know that, like, yeah, of course we have the ocean, but we have hills that look like mountains. I won't say they're mountains, they're not the Alps, but they present that way. And we have urban, and we have rural, and we have poverty, and we have wealth. And so it's like kind of, you need an empty hospital, you need a courtroom, all these things David and the people he works with deliver on a phone call. And that's where the location selection becomes important, because then when the filmmakers themselves are happy with it, then the tax incentive has worked.
Right.
No,
we don't have our purpose-built stages quite yet. We have 3 purpose-built stages with Cinelease, and they're fantastic. There's 36 purpose-built stages online, Netflix in Fort Monmouth, 1888 in Bayonne, and then Lionsgate in Newark. But we have over 70 warehouse conversions stages. And I think in the beginning it was hard for some decision makers on the West Coast to, and I come from LA originally, right? I've been here 18 years. I only worked on purpose-built stages. It's a little mind rewiring of like to go into a warehouse conversion, but then you come and you see the ones that we have, Kearney Point, Jersey City, all that, and you're like, these are fantastic. They're fantastic stages. They've got soundproofing. There's a big power drop at all these stages, most of them, I should say. Some have got air and heat when we're in our colder and our hotter months. Plenty of parking and production office space. That a lot of people are coming here initially for location shooting, but they wind up like Adam Sandler is coming back. He was here, Happy Gilmore, last year. 2 more projects, right? And then I'm trying to think some of our other, A24 is here with 2 projects. So we're getting that repeat business because they go, it's a lot easier to film in New Jersey. And we will go with these warehouse conversions because they're so well done, but we're gonna get even more business when the purpose-built stages are built.
Agreed, no. David, talk a little bit about the role that the commission, and especially your role.
So my role really is, we are so busy right now, which is a great thing, is that we've really kind of bifurcated a lot what we do. And so my job is really boots on the ground. I interact with the production companies, the municipalities, the different stages, the studios, whoever it may be that's coming into New Jersey, because one of the things that we're really proud about, and we talk about it all the time, is that New Jersey is a very level of concierge service that you don't get in other states. We're really as involved as you want us to be involved, and we can, back off a little if you don't want us involved. But our whole goal in what we do is about, we want to be proactive instead of reactive. That's a really big component of what I do. So I'm interacting with municipalities, with filmmakers. When they're thinking about coming into the state, we want to do a conversation. A lot of times John and I will start off a very bigger conversation. John will convince them to make sure they come to New Jersey, as we did with Project Runway. And then
we're going to Canada.
They were going to Canada. We got them to come to Jersey, and which is a big deal. And then I'll take over at that point and really kind of walk them through the nuances. And one of the things that we all talk about, and Carol has really been very poignant about it, is TV is different from independent film. And we want to make sure that we really address all those issues, as we know they have a nuance to them.
Meaning we're working very hard at targeting getting more series out here, because a film comes and goes in 3 or 4 months, right? Give or take. TV series, you get picked up and you get renewals, you're out here for several years, right? And so then they build a community, and it's all about the business. It's all about getting the jobs. But you two in particular do a lot of work helping handhold a production if they want it, with their permits, walking them into a town, a municipality, really setting the level of expectation for everybody. Do you want to talk about that?
I was going to say,
Well, a lot of what we'll do is, production comes in, and I think
pre-call,
and we start having a conversation with the mayor just to kind of give them. So New Jersey's got 564 municipalities, and we have what we call home rule. So we all have our own form of government, which can be overwhelming when a production comes in and go, what do you mean? If I talk to this town, it's one way. If I talk to another town, it's another way. So what we'll do is the production comes in, we get an idea of what it is they're looking for, and then we will, I'll usually make the outreach to a mayor if I know them, have a conversation just to kind of give them a heads up, and then determine who they want to be their point person. We had the production that was working in Denville, and the mayor wanted to be a part of the discussion. He brought everyone in the room. He had the chief of police, he had economic development, he was there, his business administrator. Now he's at a point where he's like, yeah, just call the chief and we're good. He's comfortable with it. And that's really kind of what we've done, is help the towns get over that initial fear of the circus is coming to town.
Spielberg was in New Jersey and New York with his latest project, and Janice, with her connections, we got county officials and we got town officials into one room months before he came in, just to make sure all the expectations were going to be met while he was there. And what happened is he was filming one sequence and decided, he was driving around and was like, these roads are great. Rather than shoot them in a different place, different day, I have all my resources right here. Can we get these 2 roads? And so within 24 hours, all the police were already there and gathered, and they were like, yeah, and they pulled the permit for him. And so it kept more work in New Jersey for a longer period of time. And P.S., we would not have gotten him in New Jersey unless the commission had stepped in, helped secure, it was a train that we wanted. Yes. And we made several trips down there, and we got him the train, and so he stayed. But Carol will tell you about go ahead.
The other thing is Spielberg was here before in New Jersey for West Side Story, and he knew how it had worked so well for him. So there's that repeat business even with a Spielberg, and then the word of mouth with a director like that it's good for Spielberg, and he's gone back again. That travels as well as the tax incentive information.
He's at Amblin. He's at Amblin, so the word travels to the rest of Amblin, which is owned by Universal, which the word travels out to Universal, which is the bigger umbrella is Comcast, NBC, which travels out. So that's one ambassador, but now his executive producers, his line producers, his UPMs, all that, they're traveling out of like, oh my gosh, it was great filming in New Jersey. So, you cast that wide net, and that's why you want that repeat business and you want to make people happy. But Film Ready, we redid with our Attorney General's office, and we built consistency because of UPMs and line producers that look at 564 different towns thinking there's 564 different sets of rules, right?
Film Ready is a program that New Jersey, I think, is unique in. They've reached out to the town, the 564, and said, if you want filmmaking in your town, here's what we want to do as the Film Commission is get certified so that film productions who come into New Jersey know that you know what to expect.
Right.
And they come to these, and we've set them up throughout the state, and various municipalities come to them, and they learn. It's like the things about parking and the distribution of what a company demands and wants and expects. And so when they're informed, they know when the circus does come to town, this is where we park them, and we get the fire department on standby, or all the different needs that there are. And that has helped immensely, because when you know as a producer that this is a town that's already ready for us, it just takes one less thing you have to worry about. It's off the list. It's like plenty other things to worry about, and that was like done.
I was going to say, Carol, one of the things that we all really try to do with the Film Ready program is also there's a level of expectation as you as a producer and you as a production company that if you're going into a Film Ready community, there's a standard set of rules and regulations that we've put forth, that it's not all over the place.
It's all about building consistency
Right.
through the state for filmmakers or studios or network partners. So you know it's X number of days to turn that permit around.
Right.
It's going to be this much money for a permit for this budget or that budget. So it's just about building consistency so our UPM and line producer friends, their heads don't explode of like, I don't know how much it's going to be wherever I go.
Right.
It makes it easier for the towns too, because we understand, you know, the town next to me is doing this, we're going to do this. And we're all on an even playing field when it comes to productions coming in, because ultimately it's really cool to be able to show off the town that you have, but the economics that it brings to the town, right? The small businesses that benefit, and sometimes the locations that benefit, not the town-owned stuff, but privately owned. That was significant. That was big with, you know, to go back to the Spielberg project, to the Adam Sandler project. Yes. We were all over, and everyone got a little piece of the pie. There was a competition amongst mayors. Everyone that had a picture of Adam, they'd post the picture of Adam Sandler. Where's Adam Sandler now?
Yes.
I still haven't gotten Adam to Clinton, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
We'll work on that. John, can you talk a little bit about the resources or grants that might be available to support some independent filmmakers?
So on the Film Commission side, I invite all of you to come to our website because we have a suite of offerings for filmmakers that are absolutely free. So let's say if you want, you could give us your script. We'll do a script breakdown for free and give you a location packet. So Carol mentioned our location library. It's called Real Scout. There's over 45,000 images on that website. So you are free to just peruse and find stuff on your own. We do it because there's so many studios and networks that are from the West Coast. They don't know New Jersey. They don't know that we've got a battleship. They don't know. Their image of New Jersey is the opening of The Sopranos. Yeah. It's just a rusted bridge, right? Yes. That's it, right. A fuel tank on the side of the highway. They don't know that we've got mountains with snow and you've got a beach, and even better is that you can go from the beach to the mountain in 90 minutes. It'll take you 90 minutes to go cross town over in a certain island, if you know what I mean. And so you can get this variety of looks. And you know, mid-century ranch, Victorian or Queen Anne, you name it. So the library's there for you guys for free, for the studios obviously to whet their appetite and see what we've got. We also have the NJ411, which is a production services library. So let's just say some of you are small business owners. You can advertise your business there. We just sort of zhuzhed up the website so that you can put some pictures on there, a link to your website, so you really put your best foot forward. If you're crew, there's a place for you to put yourself, your CV, your credits on there. So that's all free as well. You want us to walk you through the incentive program? We'll walk you through some of the rules for the tax incentive program. So here's the thing. A lot of you probably thinking that the tax incentives are really just for big productions. They're not. There's two basic requirements for the incentives. One is that you spend $1 million. So a bunch of you just went, I ain't gonna make that. But then the other part of it is 60% of your production budget. So that's a lot of you that'll make that. So I think, David and I were just talking to somebody last week, probably $250,000, $300,000, sort of the place where if your budget is there, it's a sweet spot where you could go through the incentive program, get 30 or 35% back, depending if you're in or outside the TMZ. everybody knows what the TMZ is, right, in this crowd. So if you're in or outside of the TMZ, 35% if you're outside the TMZ, that's to encourage you to bring your production to other places in the state. But you can apply for it, $250,000, $300,000 sweet spot, like we said, because then you'll have enough money for your CPA, because you will need a CPA to do all the paperwork. So that's available. We always say, last thing I'll say about this is that we love small independent production. We love the big projects like Spielberg comes in or Happy Gilmore. Sure, that's great. But why do we like the little production? Because you folks are keeping our rental houses busy and our employees busy that work in our infrastructure. And in between the big projects, we have the little projects. So we don't discriminate on the Film Commission side. That's why all these things, whether it's scouting or interfacing with other state agencies, we're there for you, always.
You know, there's another huge thing for the smaller, well, for every production with the tax incentive is that the return on that money coming back to the production is rapid,
yes,
especially compared to any other state, I think. And so, especially an independent film that's raised money and borrowed money and all those other things, they need to return at least that first part of it, and that's a big difference. And
4.5 to 6 months, the turnaround time in New
not
Jersey.
years, months. Right.
Yeah, that's the, and if you are an independent, because that is a key. You know, you're floating the interest, floating that cash.
Yeah.
You need that turnaround to be able to, you know, complete the movie or do music or something else you may want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I touched a little bit on the economics, but, you know, we talked about obviously the qualified spend, but what does it mean to some of the small businesses? And I think you've all got a little bit, you know, some stories that you can add to it. John, you had a production that you did in your town.
So I had I was directing a small budget feature for Warner's, and it was $3 million. And I shot 6 days in my town, and we spent over the course of the 6 days just under $30,000. Well, to my town of 5,000 people, that was huge. Like my camera department every morning was getting coffee, and he's a friend of mine. He was like, "John, please don't leave." He's like, "It's an extra $250 every morning. It's great." The gift that keeps giving is one of my grips actually bought a house in my town. So that was the gift that keeps giving in the form of property taxes. But he loved the town so much. But we did catering at one of our local restaurants. My crew was getting tired of our regular caterer, and there was a barbecue place in our town. But also Spielberg in town. Last story, and you guys chip in. Spielberg, we had one of our state senators down there in Cape May.
Yes.
They said, "See everybody that's out here? It's 350 people in the crew."
Yeah.
They're all staying in hotels because they don't live in your district. And that's 350 people in 8 different hotels at $285 per night. You do the math. And they each get a per diem. And when Mr. Spielberg wraps at 5:30 on the dot, they're all spending their per diem on dinner in your district. And he looked and he goes, "And it's the off season."
Right.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Can you get more production here?"
Right. No, I mean, that's definitely key. I mean,
I was gonna say, we did a feature film that was in Cranford, and they were doing a parade, and we tell the story all the time, you know, how the economics work on such a small business, a mom and pop place, and they bought $19,000 worth of balloons for the parade. I mean, think about that. I mean,
that represents.
you never get that order of $19,000 of balloons.
Yeah.
And the one thing we do try to qualify also with our municipalities is that the caterer might not necessarily be from the state per se, because catering on film sets, as you know, is a very particular animal. It's a very specific thing. But all the food that they're buying is Jersey-based. All the props, everything they're doing to making it, and their crew is paying New Jersey payroll tax.
Yeah.
no, it's all significant. You know, and New Jersey's all about small businesses.
Yes.
You know, our downtowns have small businesses. So the fact that the productions are able to give back and give something, especially at a time when it may be a little bit more difficult, like in South Jersey when it's off season.
Yes.
I always think there's an irony in that the reason, you know, we started the industry in Fort Lee, right? That was the nascent origin of the film business. And why did it move to the West Coast? Well, Thomas Edison was starting to charge a tax, a licensing tax on his technology. So the filmmakers back then all ran to the West Coast. The weather was great, a lot of good locations and all that stuff. So we lost them to the West Coast because of that. Now the tax incentives in New York and New Jersey are bringing them all back. So as I like to say, it's sort of a circle of life. So if you can all just join hands and we'll sing that song from Lion King right now. But that is, it's a great irony.
No, it really is. Let's talk a little bit about workforce and the work that the commission is doing to ensure that there's an education and opportunities for workforce development.
Well, a number of projects, I would say they're in the process of being approved, which in the priority, Governor Murphy's priority is if we're going to have this tax incentive, we are going to bring employment to the state. That's a priority within this, and it's working. We're starting it. You don't just overnight say, okay, we're training people. So I don't think we're at the point of announcing those. I mean,
Well, no, there's a public announcement that went out a few weeks ago. You can later on your phones, you can dial it in. It's called NJ FilmWorks. So the governor set aside $5 million for workforce training because we realize that, well, it's funny. People, when projects come in, if they haven't worked in New Jersey, they'll say, I want like an experienced New York crew. And what we like to say is, well, 40% of the experienced New York crew lives in New Jersey. And they'd much rather just get in their car and drive down the turnpike, right, to go to work as opposed to slug their way across a bridge or a tunnel. But 40% of IATSE and the Teamsters live in New Jersey. But with more production coming to New York with their great incentives and our great incentives and all these great locations, I think both states realize like we need to train up people to get them to continue to come, because that is another sort of pillar, if you will. You've got the tax incentives, you've got great infrastructure, you've got the variety of locations, but it's unlike any other state, you know, Texas, Louisiana, whatever, we have great crews here. So that's a huge asset to a producer, knowing that we're gonna move more efficiently. So NJ FilmWorks, you can look it up, $5 million set aside. There's a grant that's out there right now. People are applying to it, and it's all about job training. And also with, you know, there's a heavy desire to people that don't have a current way forward in this industry or coming from underserved communities to be able to, which is really nice to be able to say in 2025, that there is an emphasis on creating these paths for these people. And you know, it's not just kids just out of film school.
I was going to say someone
right?
who's
It's like there's some people that you
second
know in
career,
your community,
yeah.
right? They're painters, they're welders, they're carpenters that look and they see all the film trucks around, and they're like, this looks like an interesting, you know, business to maybe explore. Well, we can put those skills to work, you know, in art department, right? So it's not, there's a lot of opportunity.
And it's really about very much creating a pathway for a job, a pathway for success. John and I, we talk about this all the time. We were talking when we were coming over here. It's about creating that pathway. It's not about just training you and doing something and then just letting you flounder. It's about what is that path that you have to get to where you should be in that career.
And what Carol's referring to also is we're trying to create a program in New Jersey that really hasn't been done much in the tri-state area, which is our instructors that we're looking towards eventually really getting professionals that are currently working in the industry so that you're getting current and best job training practice, right? And then what's the next step? I went to film school. It was the same time Paul Feig, that's how I know Paul. Paul played Abraham Lincoln in a Please No Talking spot for a trailer he did in film school. But is to get our unions involved so that we can get an apprenticeship program opened up again. So that unlike most film schools that you get your degree, what's the next step? How am I actually working? What am I doing? So we're trying to do that too with this program. And there's great stuff going on in New York. I tease about New York, but the two states together are a huge draw because we each host many of the same productions at the same time.
We talk about it all the time, that we're one huge economic pool. We are this massive economic pool. What?
A magnet.
Yeah, and if New York is thriving, New Jersey's thriving, it's this whole area is thriving, and that means the people that are working in this tri-state area can thrive as well. And about keeping jobs and keeping businesses going.
Well, the productions are also in the way ours is set up, that there's a percentage. So you can shoot in New York, get the shots that are, let's say, iconic, and you need New York for that, and then you come back to New Jersey. And that's certainly the Bob Dylan film with how few days were in New York?
1 day.
1 day. And if you've seen that film, it sells New York often, but that was New Jersey.
I think our slogan should be, we're Jersey, we want a piece of everything. And so, yes.
Right.
And then one last thing on the workforce development, and this is something that has happened at some of the community colleges, and the commission also hosted, is the PA boot camps. For those who are really just want to kind of get that foot in the door and understand. I mean, I attended PA boot camp, we won't talk about that, but.
She doesn't take instruction well.
I don't take direction well.
First rule of being a PA.
Right?
Take instruction.
I know, yes.
She does not take instruction well.
But to that point, I know I'm not meant to be a PA, but it's a great opportunity for especially some of our college students, and we've seen some of our students that have been through our PA boot camp get on some of the projects.
I think we'll be seeing more PA boot camps in New Jersey. And then one of our great film commissioners, Tom Bernard, who's co-president of Sony Picture Classics, had an idea of like, let's do a PA boot camp that'll be readily accessible to you online. So actually, some of the people you're seeing today, we just started filming that last week. So that's a project that we're working on that'll live online. And I think with NJ Film, and we're gonna get some other subject experts from art department, production office, accounting, right? That'll speak to the different types of PAs, and there's base camp PA and all that stuff, and how do you break in, and what are some tips to succeed in that, and then move your career forward. So it's a great entry-level position, and then I think with NJ Filmworks, there's probably an opportunity to do other workshops of other types too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So then before we go to a Q&A with the audience, the final wrap-up, where are we 5 years from now?
Top 3, domestic hub, no doubt in my mind. Once the walls are up on the stages, we're already, historically speaking, New Jersey's been like 7 or 8 on the list, right, David?
Yeah.
So we're bouncing between 3, 4, 5. We're going like this all the time. And it's LA, New York, Georgia, and Illinois. But once Dick Wolf retires, see you later. Like Chicago Fire, Chicago Police, Chicago Dog Catcher, God bless them. But we're in the mix, and so the goal is to be number 3. I have no doubt that we'll hit that with our incentives, the locations, our workforce, the commission. Most commissions, you go to most states. I've shot in 25 states, and it's like, hey, how are you? Welcome. And that's the last you see of them, right? Just a cloud of dust. We're there for all the reasons that we've already talked about, and that helps. So it's the pieces of the puzzle. It's not just stages. It's not just locations. It's not just incentives. You need all these things. You need to do, if you've ever worked in TV and you get notes from your executive, right? The goal is like, I don't want them picking up a pen to give me a note. Like, make it as good as you can. So what the commission does is like, tries to turn the no's into yeses. So we didn't have film cameras in state, right? Now we've got Aeroflex, Panasonic, and Sony. We didn't have lumber mills in the state as of 6 months ago. Now we've got 2. So, and they specialize in construction materials that you need for set building. So we just try to turn those no's into yeses. And I think the more that we do, and that's why we're on the upswing, and I think we'll continue to be, is number 3.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do a Q&A.
Wait, ask them.
All right, where are we going to be, David?
Well, I was going to agree with you. Obviously, we're going to do that. It's we're at this very fever pitch going on. It's really exciting. And I think, one of the things we talk about all the time is that we're in it for the long haul. And I think that when you talk about that placement of being in the top 3, it's a long haul thing. We don't want our incentive and what we're doing this to be a gold rush. You're not mining for something right now and then 3 years from now it's dissipated. We want the long haul. And I think that's what we're setting up. We're setting up for the long haul.
Yeah, every movie, every TV series that goes and comes back again, it just carries it on. So we won't be the novelty of, what, New Jersey?
Yes.
Never thought of that. No, it'll be just one of the standards that you would consider.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think to that point, the one thing that Governor Murphy did really well is he slow-rolled the incentive program.
Yes.
The initial incentive kind of just started it, and then each iteration expanded on it, so we didn't wind up kind of getting it all lumped in. We took the time to really do the work that needed to be done to build the infrastructure within the commission and within the communities.
We wouldn't be here without our current governor.
Absolutely. This is his legacy.
And it is his legacy, and then there's bipartisan support in Trenton,
Absolutely.
both sides of the aisle, that see, this is too big to fail.
Right.
Putting too many people to work, and too much money is getting spent in the state when productions come here. So it's a real team effort. But it was him and First Lady that had a vision for this.
Yeah, thank you so much. You've been talking about Jersey, understandably why, but I wonder if you could talk a little bit about your opinions on having a federal tax credit and what that could potentially do for Jersey, but also the rest of the country.
Well, I think it'd be fantastic. I don't know how realistic it is. But yeah, fantastic. To compete with other countries in this world. But
yeah, I don't know how realistic it is. But it would be fantastic to have that layered on to what we have already. But to Commissioner
There's a
Cuddy's
conference call tomorrow.
What?
There's a conference call tomorrow
There
too,
is,
I think,
yes.
right? To kind of talk through the logistics and the work that needs to be done.
What it could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got a question over here.
It sure would help with, helping defray labor costs, right? And that's why they're going where it's cheaper to do. So some of our partners say. So to make it stackable onto what every state does, we'd be getting a lot back.
Yeah.
Oop, I think we lost our, try again.
Test. Okay.
Tracy's.
There we go.
Hi there. Thank you so much for coming to speak to us. I just had a quick question. Is there a running database that has all the list of productions where crew can reach out to PMs or coordinators to get on set?
Wait, to get?
They want to know if we keep a list of active stuff.
No, that's public facing in terms of how you can get on set, as in, no, because you don't want an active set to be flooded with paparazzi and visitors and things like that. They want to sort of keep their presence low footprint, which is good in terms of then we don't get into the issue of fatigue in a film, in a town around New Jersey. So that's part of why we get involved with the permitting process, is to try to make that transition in and out of your town as smooth as possible. But again, there's the NJ 411.
I was going to say,
You can put your CV up there, and I know for a fact that our UPMs, line producers, and scouts do go to that. So we don't maintain figures on the hiring rate, but I know that it's utilized.
Definitely. I know this question comes up because New York City used to keep that list. And you had the phone number, you had the address, everything. And then there's such an aspect of privacy now that's kind of gone away. There is something that I think it's something we should consider, is if each productions, if they would, to put up a Gmail address. It's like such and such productions at Gmail, and you could at least submit your resume, and not necessarily going to be collected. I think if you're outside of our zone that's closest to the city, if you're, let's say, in Trenton or someplace out, then production teams might look at those resumes, because we need to hire some local people here. We need extra production assistants or set dressers, and there they would be as a resource. So But I hear what you're saying. It's something that would be really helpful when you're searching for work.
There's, for any of you that are union, I know the Teamsters and IATSE also, it's an understanding that they try to front load production that comes into New Jersey with New Jerseyan residents. But that said, we were on Coin
Toss?
Yes. About a week and a half ago, and there were plenty of New Yorkers that were working there. Yes. Plenty of New Yorkers. I mean, look, we're coming out of 2 years, 2 difficult years. So there was a huge amount of unemployment. And so the unions are ecstatic that New Jersey and New York are getting a big chunk of business. And so they're trying to get people onto sets and hired up as quickly as possible and keep everybody employed.
And we had a question over here.
So you guys have been talking a lot about the uptake in production for New Jersey, and you briefly mentioned about like how it should be a team effort between New York State and New Jersey to kind of bring all of this business up to the East Coast. I just also checked 4 days ago, apparently the Post-New York Alliance managed to get a budget passed for a tax incentive or a tax break for post-production. I just wanted to ask, with this uptake, at least for production, how do you foresee that for people like myself that are working in post-production mainly?
There you go. Hit it. Put it out there. He's gonna hit you with some love.
So I think I said when I first started, my first job was as an editor on the Academy Awards, and then my second job was on Cops. So there's a special place in my heart for post-production because I did that probably the first 5-6 years of my career before then I got more into writing and directing. When I first came in too, there was what they call the digital tax incentive, and when I looked at it, I was like, well, this is really post-production because it's not connected to actual production. So we do have a post incentive. I can't say who, but I'll say there are 3 major studios that are bringing post-production into the state. So I don't know if you're part of the local, is it 600 or 800 editors? Jen Myers, the head of the local. You're non-union. Well, so yeah, right. And I joined WGA early on because DGA was a little more than I could afford at that point in my time, and so, but I get it. But I know there's a series coming in here from Amazon MGM, which is non-union, and they're editing. So we're getting more of that over there because they also realize we have a lot of really talented editors that are right here in our backyard in New Jersey. So, and it gets a little expensive, to set up an office in Manhattan. So that's why they're coming to New Jersey. So there's definitely more post-production coming here.
And we have the post incentive here.
Yeah.
Too. So, and here meaning New Jersey.
And what's going on is with the post incentive, you have an incentive and it isn't bang, all of a sudden you're getting 27 post house in New Jersey. It's something that we've been cultivating and working on, and as John said, we have 3 that are going to be coming in. So and as we get the word out constantly, we're going to start seeing more and more. And for us, it's all about opportunity, right? So we have multiple post houses in New Jersey. It means there's multiple opportunities for the folks that do post to have those opportunities.
Thank you guys again so much for being here. You mentioned a little bit some of the other states like Georgia, Louisiana, California, obviously, who have sort of built these cottage industries as well in film. And I was wondering how you guys are planning to make sure to protect this industry that you're building as it grows so it doesn't turn into something like where Georgia had this huge boom with the Marvel cast and then suddenly those jobs suddenly left.
I think it goes back again to there are I think 5 major reasons why we get so much production. It's the incentives, it's the locations, it's our experienced crew, it's our infrastructure, and then the film commission itself. So the locations are not going away. If you're a director or you're head of production at a studio or a network, you look at that and you go, for all the reasons we already talked about, I've got this look, that look, this look, all right in New Jersey. And Jersey is a geographically compact state. So again, time is money. So to go from the beach to a mountain, 90 minutes. Horse farm, little town, big city, look-alike for Washington, D.C. That is a huge draw, is our location filming, right? And then, as I said, we didn't have cameras, we didn't have lumber mills in the state. We bring those in, so we keep building the infrastructure. So when we did our New Jersey Film Expo back in May 1st, the slogan was, whatever your production needs, Jersey's got you covered. Well, it's true. So all these pieces of the puzzle that you keep building, so that you turn, again, those no's to yeses, that's how you keep it here, is we're not just about stages, right?
There's one
it's not
more
about
thing,
one thing.
and that's cast.
Yes.
And the Screen Actors Guild is filled with people who have worked in New York, on Broadway, major movies, TV series, and they're here. And that's a huge draw, and they're not going away.
They
And
get to go
that's
home every
another-
night, right?
Right.
They're going to drive them home.
Yeah.
And I think also one of the things that Commissioner Kovach said also is that Governor Murphy, I don't mean it was a slow rollout like a trickle, but it was a very planned rollout. It wasn't like we just threw it out there. It was very calculated, and also we kept on tweaking it to make sure that it was the right thing, which goes back to I want to really, it's not a gold rush. It's like we tweaked it so that we're at a good pace and a good rate where it works. And the key, I think, to the bigger question is 4.5 months payout.
Yeah.
Right. And it's living, breathing, right? Like,
Yeah.
to your point, if it needs to be updated or tweaked, it will get updated and tweaked. That's the beauty of the legislature, is that everyone's on board with it.
Yeah, both sides
and
of the
they
aisle.
understand the importance.
100%.
There's one other thing, in Georgia, it hasn't gone away.
Right.
We happen to be beating them now, and we've certainly taken work away from Georgia, I think. But Georgia has quite a few stages, and they have now, I would say, acquired a film technicians and actors have gone there or been trained there. So they're doing okay. They're just not doing what they did before because we have more.
Right, yes.
Because we're Jersey.
Yes.
We want it all. That's the T-shirt.
Yeah, there you go.